Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason, the bearded EV guy, and we have quite the slew of headlines for today. First, some unfortunate news for anyone needing a Tesla in the near future. Tesla raises Model 3 and Y pricing again, while also pushing out delivery time. Tesla has been raising prices incrementally for the last year or so. The cheapest Tesla, the Standard Range Plus Model 3, was raised $2,000 from $41,990 to $43,990. All-wheel drive and performance stayed the same. The cheapest variant of the Model Y, the long-range version, went from $54,990 to $56,990. We've been hoping to save up enough for a Model Y in the next year or so. I wish I had put in my reservation months ago, as each price increase pushes it further and further away from being a possibility. On the other hand, I get it. They cannot keep up with demand as is, so it only makes sense to increase pricing, especially with the EV tax credit looming that will dramatically lower the effective price for most Americans. Kelley Blue Book reports that while car sales are
Today's
down,
review includes the
EV
most
sales are growing.
anticipated electric
U.S.
models
sales
of
of new vehicles have
2021,
dropped over
given the real
13% from
possibility of
Q3
their
2020
appearance
to
on the roads.
2021. In the same time,
To simplify
however,
the structure of the
electrified
video,
vehicles,
the list has been
including
divided
hybrids,
into
have
three
grown
parts.
60%
Let's
and
start with
accounted
the
for
most
over
popular group
10%
of
of all vehicle
SUV
sales.
crossovers,
Obviously,
which have
the
already
supply
been
chain
announced
issues
for
that
the
have
next
plagued the
year.
automotive industry has had some effect on these trends. Let's hope this trend continues as the supply chain shortages get worked out. There are a couple of new world record champions, completing the longest continuous journey in a non-solar EV. What were they driving? A VW ID4. Driver Rainer Zietlow and photographer Derek Collins drove for nearly 100 days and covered over 35,000 miles. They traveled through all 48 contiguous states. During their trip, they visited 628 VW dealerships and also had 208 Electrify America charging stops. I think this is a huge testament of the progress of EV charging throughout America. There is still a huge amount of growth that needs to happen, especially as more and more EVs come to market. But you can already go coast to coast with relative ease in a fully electric vehicle. Speaking of EV charging while on the go, Tesla plans to triple its Supercharger network over the next 2 years. Tesla currently has 1,165 stations with over 11,000 charging ports. They've doubled over the last 18 months, so the building rate is actually increasing. Elon Musk has said they plan to open the network to other EVs later this year, so increasing the network is necessary to limit congestion. I'm excited as charging networks increase in cross-compatibility. Anecdotally, the number one concern I've heard from people interested in my car is long trips. It's just a huge unknown for most people, and making the chargers ubiquitous will make road tripping that much more accessible. I thought this was cool. Coldplay will be using BMW i3 batteries to power their concerts. These batteries will replace diesel and gas generators which have been used for years for concerts. I think this is amazing. This is one of those sectors that I never even thought about, but it makes sense. As EV sales continue and more disabled vehicles come available, I hope to see an increase of recycled battery solutions like this. Even with significant degradation, EV batteries can have years of life left if repurposed to energy storage for a home or as a replacement for a generator. There is officially more than one Cybertruck Alpha roaming around. There has been speculation for months that there are multiple prototypes. During Tesla's last Q3 earnings call, Lars Moravy, Vice President of Vehicle Engineering, confirmed they have more than one Cybertruck built. These are alpha prototypes, meaning they are still likely months away from establishing their test production lines. He also emphasized they are still on track for a 2022 launch. Tennessee offers Ford an $884 million incentive package for Blue Oval City, Ford's coming EV mega campus. The campus is planned to be built in Haywood County near Memphis. The funds come from the state's surplus from their 2021 budget. The money is a mixture of incentives to Ford and funds being set aside for infrastructure projects and other services. Blue Oval City will bring roughly 5,800 jobs to the area over the coming years. As a current resident of Tennessee, it's exciting to see so much innovation coming to my home state, with both this campus and VW's work in Chattanooga. Speaking of VW, CEO Scott Keogh pushes back against Biden's EV incentives, saying the focus on unionized labor is fundamentally wrong. The proposed EV incentives has different tiers depending on certain criteria. The debate is around these criteria, as they are not based on environmental concerns, but rather political. For example, there is an increase if the car is manufactured in the United States versus elsewhere. The controversial part of the proposal is an additional $4,500 credit per vehicle if the car was made with unionized labor, which would exclude vehicles like Tesla, VW, and others. He said in an interview on Doron Levins, in the driver's seat on SiriusXM, quote, "Look, I'm going to be quite blunt and straightforward. I think it's wrong. I think it's fundamentally wrong. I think an American working in Chattanooga, Tennessee, or an American working at any plant in America should get their fair day in court. And there shouldn't be a bigger incentive. We all want the same exact thing. We want electrical vehicles on the road because it's good for the environment. It's going to be good for American competitiveness. We want these cars built in America, and whether it's Tennessee, whether it's Michigan, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Ohio, that's what we want. So I think it's putting the resources in the wrong place, on the wrong exposure. I think I have to agree. Under the current proposal, a plug-in hybrid that only gets you a handful of miles of all-electric range would qualify for thousands of dollars more in incentives than a fully electric, American-made Tesla or VW ID4. If the goal is help the environment and help American jobs, then take the union piece off the table. Ending the day, some exciting news for BMW fans. BMW starts production of the i4. The Munich factory began October 22nd to build the i4. BMW's goal is to have half of all vehicles built at that factory to be electric by 2023. They released a series of photos, which are interesting to look at. It's good to see such momentum in the electrified car world, and it's exciting to know we're only at the beginning of this historic transition. That's all for today. Thank you again for listening. As always, if you are interested in supporting the channel, and if an affordable 3-wheeled, 2-seat, super efficient EV that you never have to plug and can fit into your life, check out thebeardedevguy.com/appterror or watch my video on the app Terror. If you pre-order through my link, you get $30 off the $100 pre-order fee. Thanks again.